kind of lost in the excitement of the announcement that we're going to be getting a Fallout New Vegas 2 or a new Fallout by Obsidian. Hopefully, Fallout New Vegas 2, but really we'll take anything with that studio behind it. Is the fact that it sucks that video games are both an art and a business, in the sense that you can't just work on what you're passionate about. You have to make it work financially, or you're going to be forced by your bosses, in this case, Xbox and Microsoft, to make things that maybe you're not as passionate about. And if you're not as passionate about these games, maybe you're not going to make the best games. At least that's what's being argued in this article from IGN and Jim Trikinka, who says, "We want Fallout New Vegas 2, but not like this." Obsidian and Bethesda are two beloved RPG studios that complement each other beautifully, in the vein of all the classic double acts, Lennon McCartney, Beer and Nuts, Britain and Post-War Decline. By 2021, Xbox had acquired them both, which led many of us to believe that the holiest of holy grails was now in the cards. A proper follow-up to New Vegas, the acclaimed Obsidian developed Fallout spin-off that brought the series back to its Wild West roots, while keeping and expanding upon the grand modernization effort that Bethesda started with Fallout 3. The results, a game so adored that they're now making an ultra-budget TV show that directly follows on from it. A game so highly regarded that many consider it to be the peak of what's possible from either studio. And so with these twin RPG stables nestled together under the umbrella of Xbox Game Studios, it seemed nailed on that the people who now owned both the Fallout series and the best studio to ever do it would leverage that fact for money, and to sell some Xboxes perhaps. What a concept. And well, you know what? It looks like that might now be happening. A new report from Bloomberg's Jason Schreier claims that Obsidian is now working on a new Fallout game, headed up by New Vegas director Josh Sawyer. But in perhaps the cruelest monkey paw twist imaginable, the long-awaited new Fallout is happening in a way that nobody with any admiration for these studios, love of the Fallout franchise, or possession of any decency can truly get excited about. Maybe when the dust settles on this upheaval, but not right now. Because, once again, Xbox is taking a machete to its workforce, cutting right through the bone of its most prestigious stream factories, as a decade plus of spinning its wheels under chronic mismanagement comes to a devastating but entirely predictable conclusion, while its parent company desperately sells the family silver in order to fund the most destructive gambling habit in human history, one that is, incidentally, making game consoles prohibitively expensive to make, meaning that for the first time in history, current-gen machines are going up in price as they age. So we all have to suffer. And activities that are actually profitable, like making video games and selling them to people, have to get gutted. The people actually responsible for video games, in many cases, the keepers of crucial generational knowledge and expertise built up over careers spanning decades, collateral damage. Artists, engineer coders, writers, so many writers, not a single one of them responsible for the terrible decisions that got us here, but somehow being made to pay the toll with their livelihoods. In contrast, those actually to blame for all this are earning golden toilet seat money more than anyone needs or knows what to do with. It's grim, it's unnecessary, it's unsustainable, and it's a frightening realization of the ancient curse, interesting times, etc. Xbox CEO Arsha Sharma calls this the Xbox reset, spun as a painful but necessary realignment of the business towards actually leveraging all the intellectual properties that a predecessor collected like Pokemon but failed to really do anything with. Xbox Studios now have a mandate to play the hits. More Fallout, more Elder Scrolls, more Halo. And you know what? She's right about this specific thing. It's something that should have been done years ago, before they laid off thousands of game developers. Had it been so, it would have been a lot harder for the current team to justify these sweeping cuts to themselves or anyone else. Under no circumstances do you got to hand it to someone who signed off on this much humane misery. Least of all, someone who is in part responsible for the AI rainbow chasing that has led to such chaos. But it's undeniable that Xbox has not been doing good business since long before AI was a factor in component pricing. Now, despite starting with more highway than China, they finally run out of road, and the blame for this lies squarely at the feet of her predecessor. The problem with many of Xbox acquisitions, as put succinctly to us by industry analyst Ray Elliott recently, is that they were brilliant for prestige and rotten for spreadsheets. And I think that they might get to the heart of how devastating it is for the Xbox business to go from one extreme to the other in terms of leadership. Brace yourselves, because I'm about to do some faint praise for Phil Spencer, and I'll have to lie down afterwards. It'd be wrong to say that Phil Spencer wasn't like all other executives. He donkey dashed after the carrot of infinite growth like they all do, and it led to all the same kinds of consequences. He's no less culpable for the misery heaped upon this industry as demanded by the cult of fiduciary responsibility, of which he is a very well compensated acolyte. But I'll say this for him. In stark contrast to some others who've had this job, he undeniably gives a shit about video games. He cares about the medium. It's well documented that he plays a lot of games, sinking hundreds of hours into them year on year, and he knows what's good. And I think a lot of his decisions were made with his heart, not his business head. Like, for example, the hands-off approach when it came to the Xbox studio acquisitions. He understood that a game company isn't just its IP portfolio, but its talent and workplace culture, its overall character. Too much executive interference can dilute the magic of the place like Bethesda, Obsidian, or Arcane. We've seen it over and over again in Lionhead and Rare. The BioWare that exists now is a shadow of what it once was, having been ground down under the benefactorship of Electronic Arts. I think that Spencer understood that, and he wanted to avoid being responsible for another BioWare situation, buying something only to rob it of its real value. And so he seemed content to let Bethesda carry on as an outfit that funnels all of its creative decisions making through one incredibly busy director, Todd Howard, who seems unconcerned by the prospect of going a full 20 years between Elder Scrolls installments, taking a long detour to make Starfield a game that certainly has its fans, but is widely considered to be pretty rubbish as a substitute for Elder Scrolls 6, which remains reportedly another 2 years away. Instead of Fallout 5 being anywhere close to active development, we've got the TV show, a very good TV show, it has to be said, but TV shows don't sell Xboxes, just ask Don Matrick. In amongst all this, Todd is somehow finding time to go and consult on Indiana Jones. So, I'll let you read the rest of that article. Again, we want Fallout New Vegas 2, but not like this. I totally get where he's coming from, right? You don't want to force creatives to do something that they're not passionate about. That being said, there's a report that for every $1 Xbox spent on making their products, they only made 36 cents back. So 64 cents of it was just spent and gone. And I think that you can't say Obsidian didn't have their chances, right? They made Outer Worlds, they made Avowed, and they made Outer Worlds 2, and they made Pentiment, as well as Grounded 2, and 1, of course. The only games that were really super financially successful were the Grounded series, so I can't feel too bad. You know, it is a business, but what are your thoughts on all of this? Do you agree that this isn't how we wanted this to get? Or are you kind of like, hey, they tried a hands-off approach, now it's time for a hands-on approach with a leaner team? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. We have new videos coming out all the time here on the channel. If you enjoyed this one, please check out our main channel, Wicked Everything, where I cover video games in the form of video essays and video game reviews. Check out our sports channel, Wicked Sports, where we cover sports news, and our podcasting channel, Better Radio. This channel is, of course, Those Fake Nerds. Trying to get to 200 subscribers. Would really appreciate it if you subscribed, and I will see you in the next one.